true generosity is breakfast that's served all day and made with fresh ingredients. Mugg&Bean, giving you more and more.
From growing up in a rural Eastern Cape village to YouTube celebrity, Khaya Dlanga is one of the top 100 most influential people in South African media. Now creative excellence manager for Coca-Cola, with more than 46,000 people following him on Twitter, plus popular columns in some of SA's biggest newspapers, he's an inspiration to fellow South Africans.
Khaya, you grew up in rural Eastern Cape, and now you're listed as one of the most influential people in South African media. Did you ever think you'd be where you are today as a child growing up?
No, I'd be lying if I said that I ever thought about that. And where I grew up in the Eastern Cape, it was like a small village, and it was actually surrounded by these mountain ranges in the Transkei. And I think for me, there was nothing beyond those mountain ranges. There was, it seemed like that was the whole world. And I didn't really aspire to anything besides the fact that I had to look after my grandfather's cattle and sheep and just to be happy. And what really took me out of that is because my mother decided to take me to a good school in the Transkei at the time, in Kumbu. It's boarding school, you could only speak English, very strict. And I think that's when I actually started to think about other things other than where I was from. And then my mother began to sort of force me to start reading. And really, that's what really opened my world, when I started reading.
From reading to writing, Khaya was invited to pen a book for the Youngsters series alongside other prominent young South African voices like music sensation Danny Kaye and Shaka Sisulu, the grandson of anti-apartheid stalwart Walter Sisulu. The series shares the reality of being a youngster in South Africa.
What was your writing process like, considering that you have a really busy schedule?
It was horrendous. I hated it. It's the worst thing in the world because I did it during my December holidays when I was on leave. So I started writing. I had deadlines. I was being chased all the time by the publishers. I'd send something and then I'd be like, no, I'm not happy with that. I think I want to write about this now. At some point, I remember the publishers were like, no, this is it. You're not going to be changing anything anymore, you know. And I think it helps to have people who will try to keep you in line, as opposed to trying to do as much as you possibly can.
When it comes to life on and offline, Khaya follows two simple rules. Write and tweet what you know about. But above all, be interesting. If you're just interested in yourself, sooner or later, no one will be interested in you. Be curious, be hungry for what you are passionate about. Share and offer your opinion. Make your brain sexy, and even the President of the United States may take note.
You also got a chance to ask a very important man a question on YouTube.
He was running, Obama was running to be president at the time, and I got an email from the head officers at YouTube. They're like, well, a lot of people listen to what you say. You've been commenting a lot on the US election, and Senator Obama is going to be coming to our YouTube offices, and would you like to ask him a question? I was like, of course I'd like to ask him a question. And so I wrote a question and I submitted it, and then he answered it on YouTube, which made me feel really good. It's my claim to fame.
Barack? Is it okay if I call you Barack? My name is Khaya and I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa. Do you think that Africa will have unreasonable expectations of you since you have strong ties with Africa because of your father?
There was this sense of, I'm a senator from the United States and somehow I must be bringing benefits.
Sure.
What I can do as president is to make sure that the American people understand our fates are linked with what happens in Africa.
There's so much noise across all media platforms. How do you get yourself heard?
It's a difficult question. It's probably because I said things in ways that people could relate to and understand. And I also think that it's because I was consistent in saying those things that I was saying, and I was saying them. And what happens is that people tend to develop some sort of relationship with you. And I think that's the most important thing, that people have got to buy into you, because that's why people like watching a soapie, for example. It's because they know what they're gonna get, they know what they'll see, and that's why they keep going back to it. And they develop relationships with all the characters whatever the case may be. So there is really nothing that different from how everything else operates, I think. It's just that it's a different medium that actually still has the same rules. That's what I believe.
Khaya agrees with the words of author Seth Godin. How dare you settle for less when the world has made it so easy for you to be remarkable? He also adds, don't eat black jelly babies.